Hey guys, I just did a run and I got to thinking I really wanted to share this with you guys. So back in January, I felt like this year I needed to focus on self-care. And I have to say that I have not been great about that. And I've thought about it, I've dipped my toe in it. I've been like, okay, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to make some changes and I'm going to really take care of myself and listen to my body and kind of do these things and just like you, we get busy. We get busy doing other things. And so on this run, I got some clarity. And so I did EMDR therapy with a great counselor in Franklin, Tennessee, who helped me work through some things. And that is trauma therapy that stimulates both sides of your brain. And so while I was going through that, I was running and I told her, like, it's just so amazing. When I run, I feel like all the things in my head come together. They all click and they make sense and I just feel so like I can conquer the world. And she said, it's because when you're running, your feet are stimulating both sides of your brain. So your thoughts are beginning to come together. All things are beginning to make sense. So on my run today, I was thinking about all kinds of stuff. But one of the things was self-care and about the importance of taking care of ourselves and how in different seasons it's looked different for me. And I'm sure it looks different for you. And so when the babies, I have the four kids, they're 16, 14, the twins are 9. So when the twins were babies, I've always been kind of a stickler on schedules except for Ashlyn. Ashlyn was my only one that I could not get on a schedule ever. She would not sleep away from me, ever. Like she would smell me if I walked in the room. It was crazy. But all the other ones have all been on schedule. So the twins, early on when the twins were little and Steve was working and I would tell him like, okay, I need you to come home at 6 o'clock. Like that's my line. That's where I'm at. I need you home at 6 o'clock because the twins go to bed at 7 and I think that they need to see you in this little life so they have some kind of memory and connection with you. And so he was great about it. And so he did, I would feed them and he would do bath and he would read them books. And while that happened, I would sneak out to Target a lot. And the people at Target knew me, I'm sure. I didn't really buy anything. I wasn't going to shop. I was going to escape. I was going to reset, recharge, and kind of do a little self-care for me at that time. This was all that I could manage, was just to be able to get out the door, to go to Target, to look at the clothes that are all hung up on the racks neatly in order, to go through the grocery aisles and see all of the items all put together, all neat on the shelves. Everything looks great, right? Because if you go into my pantry, I don't know who spilled the Cheez-Its all over the ground, and I don't know who took the last drink and left the empty container on the floor, but my pantry is always a mess. It still is, even at the ages that they are. So I loved to go and just kind of escape to Target and where everything was in order. And so for me in that season, that was self-care. That was self-care. Taking a nap was self-care. Those kind of things that mattered to me. That was the best that I could do at that point. And then as the kids have gotten older and things have, gotten better, and they're a little bit more independent, self-care looks different, but I'm not good at self-care. So even today, I am now at home again. I had a job this past year and I have come home again. And so trying to figure out that again feels funny. I'm like, oh, I feel like I should be doing something. My husband's like, just relax. What makes you happy? Do the things that make you happy. I'm like, I love to run. So, but not feeling guilty is an issue for me. So when I talk about self-care and I talk about slowing down, and I made this comment on a becoming video a couple months ago that I want to live the life that I love. It's hard when I have a hard time not feeling guilty taking time for me. Now I've gotten better through the years, and my husband is super supportive, and that makes a huge difference. So when I'm reading a book and the dishes are full, like the sink is full of dishes, I don't feel like oh my gosh, I need to be doing that. I might feel like, oh, I should do that. But all in all, I feel like the thing I need right now is to read this book, or the thing I need to do right now is to go run with a tinge of guilt in there. So I'm working on that. But all seasons look different. So when the babies were little, Target was my go-to. We just went on vacation to Nashville, and then we went and spent some time in Gatlinburg in a cabin. And that trip, I actually listened to a book. I think it was like 18 hours long. And I listened to that book on that trip one full Saturday. It was snowy and gross outside, and the kids were all lost in their shows and playing. And I just went from spot to spot to spot, drinking my coffee and listening to Francine Rivers' new book, Masterpiece, which was so good. But so self-care. So just figuring out how to love the life I live has to do with taking care of myself. It has to do with recognizing the areas that I need to lean in on. And sometimes that's hard because for me, I kick up chaos. I don't really like to deal with what I have to deal with. I will be busy. I'll like distract myself with other things. So like if I need to clean out the pantry, then I'm probably going to clean out the refrigerator and the cabinets along with the pantry. So then I have this huge mess that at the very end looks great, but it takes me 3 times as long to do it. Or if I'm going to clean out the kids' bedroom, then I think, oh, I should go through their toys too. And it's just, I have a girlfriend that told me years back, she just said, like, you just kick up chaos. You kick the ant pile. Like, everything is going good, and then you're just like, I'm going to paint a room. And I'm like, I do. And you know what it is? It's busyness. Because if I stay busy, then I don't have to deal with what's in front of me. And then maybe I don't have to deal with the emotions that are stirring inside of me, or maybe I don't have to deal with that relationship. Maybe my spouse are not getting along so great, so I don't really want to deal with the issue there. Or maybe I'm having a hard time with one of my kids, and I don't really want to have to dig in and figure out what's wrong. I just want to be busy. And so busy does not equal productivity. Busy does not equal accomplishments. Busy sometimes equals distraction. And so if we're busy just to be busy and we're busy for no reason, sometimes I feel like we have to kind of pull back and say, okay, why? Why are we keeping ourselves so busy? What is it that what are we feeling? I went to yoga the other day, and I was in this one position, and she was, like, center yourself, and all the stuff that they say, I don't really know. But I'm sweating, I'm like stretching and feeling all the pain of this. And all of a sudden, the emotion of some stuff that we've been walking through, all the emotion came up in that moment. And my eyes filled up with tears. And I was like trying to not like just break down in the moment while I'm like facing the ground in this position. But what I recognized, because I made myself like, okay, you are fully present, you are fully present, you are fully present. What are you feeling? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? And so what I realized is that, oh, I'm feeling this in my back. I'm feeling this in my shoulders. What am I feeling? I'm feeling sadness. I'm feeling disappointment. And I'm feeling, hurt. And so instead of being busy and rushing through that, or just like letting my mind drift somewhere else, I had to calm myself and like make myself sit in the moment and what are you feeling? Because I don't want to feel anything, truthfully. I'm not a big feeler. I don't want to feel the feelings, but if I don't feel the feelings and if I don't acknowledge them, then I can't walk through them, and I just shove them, and they come up. They bubble up. They bubble up with anxiety, or they bubble up with anger. Oh, anger is like, that's, like short fuse. Like how do I get from like a 2 to a 10 so fast with my kids? Sometimes it's just because it's unresolved issues that I will not allow myself to sit in and feel. Instead, I'm going to shove them down and I'm going to move forward. But this season, this new self-care season, is going to require me to sit in it, to feel it, to process it, to walk through it, and not to escape. So if I feel myself getting busy, I am going to pull back. Why? Why do I feel like I need to go to the store right now and I don't need any more jeans? Like it doesn't matter that they're having a sale. I don't need them. So why am I going? Or why am I getting on Instagram and Facebook, and why am I getting lost in this for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes? Why am I disappearing into somebody else's highlight reel? What am I trying to avoid in my own life? And I love Instagram, Facebook, and all those things. I love to see what's happening in other people's worlds and connect. So I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that. It's when we do it to escape. So what are we escaping from? So I would love to hear how you guys navigate self-care, what that looks like, and if it even means anything to you. Like, what does taking care of yourself look like? Do you, like my sister, I asked her this question, which I cannot wait to do an interview with her in the next couple of weeks, but I asked her this question, like, what does this look like for you in this season? She's got teenagers and babies, and she said, sometimes it looks like a cup of coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, oh, I love it. Because self-care doesn't have to be this Brene Brown book. Self-care is just these little tiny things that help us to live a better life so that we can actually love the life that we live, that we actually get to enjoy the life that we're in. And sometimes we are in some really rough seasons. We are in some really difficult places. And you hear about the scriptures that talks about like having joy in the midst of pain, having peace in the midst of suffering. And you think like, this is awful. Like, I'm going through this situation with my spouse, or I'm going through this situation with my child, or my friend, or a sick relative, or any of those things. And how do you hold on? What do you do to be able to navigate those things? And so I know that for me, spending time in the Word, spending time in the Bible, praying, and spending time like worshiping with worship music on and filling my home with that. Those things help me to center myself, to know who I am in Christ, to know that I belong to God, that I am a child of God, that I have purpose and I have destiny, and that no matter what other people's expectations of me are, that what matters most is who I am and who I belong to. And so I can't please everybody, but if I'm taking care of myself and I am in tune with the Holy Spirit, I'm in tune with what God is doing in my life, then that's the most important thing. So self-care in this season is just slowing down, and listening and being intentional to allow myself to be present, to feel, and to recognize so that I can process and work through. So you tell me what self-care looks like. You tell me what that looks like for you. And I would love for you guys to share this video, and just thanks so much for watching and just helping me along this journey. So I cannot wait for the next video that I have to share with you guys. See you guys soon.